boys and girls, it's Mrs. Tento. I thought I would read you some books about the weather because our weather is changing every day in April. And this is a favorite book that my son had in kindergarten or first grade called Thunder Cake. And as we read it, you'll find out what they're doing. It's about some Russian people that I believe live in our country, but you can see by the way their dresses look on the girl and her grandmother that they are kind of old style, old fashioned, old country people. So let's go ahead and begin Thunder Cake. It is written by Patricia Polacco. Uh, on sultry summer days at my grandmother's farm in Michigan, the air gets damp and heavy. Storm clouds drift and low over the fields. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp crackling light, and then roaring, low, tumbling sound of thunder makes the windows shudder in their panes. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house. Babushka, as I called to her, my grandma, had come from Russia years before, but I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when the storm moved near the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome the fear of thunderstorms. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "Ah, this is a thunder cake baking weather, all right. Look like a storm coming to me." And here's a picture of her farm. And there's Grandma, the babushka. "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. Do you think she was frightened if she was under the bed? The air was hot and heavy and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, you won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake," I stammered as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is. Understand?" she said. "We need to know how far away the storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be real thunder cake." Her eyes surveyed the black clouds way off in the distance. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from a shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages to a creased spot. "Ah, here it is, thunder cake." She carefully penned the ingredients on a piece of notepaper, and there's Grandma, the babushka. "Now, we gather all the things we'll need," she exclaimed as she scurried toward the back door. And there's the little girl. We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the thunder roared. 10 miles. It's 10 miles away," Grandma said as she looked at the sky. "About a half an hour away," she said. "You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful like," she said. Eggs from mean old Nellie Peck hen. I was scared. I knew she would try to peck me. "I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get them eggs," Grandma said softly. The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. And here they are getting the eggs. Milk was next. Milk from old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted. Boom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. Whatever a dry shed is, it sounds like a pantry. I was scared as we walked down the path from the farmhouse through the tangleweed woods to the dry shed. Suddenly the lightning slit the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I counted. Ba-boom, ba-boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept on walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now. We haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient. Whoa, what would the secret ingredient be? 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed high onto the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. Her voice was steady and soft. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked the strawberries. Lightning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I counted. Kabang, boom, baroom, the thunder growled. We hurried back to the house and the warm kitchen, and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed and churned for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans, put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen, and it only counted to 3, and the thunder rumbled and crashed 3 miles away. Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why aren't you afraid of the thunder? You are too brave, she said as she looked right at me. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? Ah, but you got out from under it, she answered. And you got eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhan. You got milk from old Kick Cow. You went through the tangleweed woods onto the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. Now, where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all them things. Oh my goodness. I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer, and she was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried to the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. And just as then the lightning flashed, and this time it lit up the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled. It boomed, crashed, ba-room, ba-boom, ba-boomed. Just above us, the storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed. Just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting the top of the thunder cake. As the rain poured on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea from the samovar. Then, when the thunder roared above us, it shook the windows so hard and rattled the dishes in the cupboards. We just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of a thunderstorm. She was very brave, just like all of you are being brave during this time. We're all being very brave, and God wants us to be brave. We need to trust in Him, just like the little girl trusted that her grandma was there. That's kind of like how we are with God. We do the brave things, but we trust in Him when we are afraid. Here is a recipe for thunder cake. I'll hold it up there so if mom or dad want to click this and make a thunder cake at your house, you will have your very own thunder cake. Boy, it sounds good, but those tomatoes, I wonder why they threw tomatoes in. Interesting. Did everybody get that? All right, I think you probably did. Have a great day, boys and girls. We will see you on the next story. Bye bye.